I'm sorry. It's been a minute. I've been having to deal with life, but here we are. So welcome back to Behind the Beat with your boy Ike. I go by You Know It's Ike, and today we are doing Behind the Beat of Back Outside featuring Rockstar Jt from my project and now my feature presentation volume 1. Let's get it.
Live as the night turns to day, raising KC, man, I came a long way.
So I started the song with this like vibey trance sound. The song is very hype, as you'll hear in a second, but I like to have a shock factor to a lot of my songs and a lot of my content. So I want to start this one with like totally different feeling from what the rest of the song is. So I started with this synth right here. Just some basic chords. And then I had this other key-like synth on top of that. So it just kind of made this like dreamlike effect. Then it cuts right to the beat, and that's where the hype of the song starts. So really, this song was about kind of like a celebration of coming out of the pandemic. I think we made this in like early 2022 after we had been through lockdown a couple times. Stuff was finally like opening back up. So I wanted to make it like a celebration, the feeling of like finally being able to hang out with your friends and just like showing that excitement through it. So this beat is just super hype, and it cuts away right into it. So there's really not a whole lot going on melody-wise with this beat. A lot of it comes from the 808, which is driving a lot of the song. It's really heavy in this. And then on top of that, I made a sampler instrument. I'll play the original sample. So very different, it's very low, but I love that sample and I kind of wanted that to drive the whole song melody-wise. It would give a lot of space for us to like rap and sing over. So that goes throughout the verse. Beat-wise, I had these hays going on. And those just go through the whole verse. Those hays are actually me, believe it or not. So I recorded a lot of different hays, but these are the ones I chose. I'll play those individually for you. So I did a lot of different takes. You could hear like a few different styles I did. One of them was obviously pitched lower, and then another one had like a doubler effect on it. Those became my choir of haze, I guess. Drum-wise, there is no kick in the song. It's all within the 808. It's just a heavy 808, so I didn't feel like it needed a kick. Here's the snare that I use. And then I had other little snares playing at the same time. And I added just a straight hi-hat playing through it. I add this sound effect, which is kind of like someone shouting. This is actually like one of my favorite like sound effects in the background. I also add this little hat roll right here. And then through every transition, like whenever it would transition to a verse or to the hook, I had this snare roll that I played out in the MIDI. Then I had this reversed sound effect with the transition as well. As the verse progressed, I added these little reverse claps. And then towards the end of the verse, I added these crashes. So here is what the drums by themselves sound like. So that's all that was going on during the verse while I rapped. When it transitioned to the, I guess, pre-hook almost. Like it's like a hook, but it was just like a 8-bar little transition before JT's verse. I feel like the hook is kind of at the end, but we'll get to there in a minute. But during that, it went kind of back to the vibey like intro that I had for it. Just kind of like almost like a callback to it. So I used the same key synth from before. And then I took the same sample that I was using before and had it like pitched way lower, closer to what the original sound was. Had some effects on there as well. And then I switched up the 808 pattern during that section as well. Then it basically goes right back to the same pattern that I used for my verse. So JT was able to rap over basically the same beat. I did want to switch it up a bit. So once I knew like I had the mix done for the song, I bounced out the whole instrumental by itself so that I can make some cool cuts like while he raps. Just adding those cuts gave it like a whole lot of characteristic to it. I don't know. I think it sounded dope, but maybe that's just me. It goes back to another hook right here. It's almost like a pre-hook actually. I feel like the actual hook is like the last part that it builds up. So what I did for this part, I made the 808 just like the main focus once again. Switch up the pattern one more time here. I took the same like Hey Ya sample that I had been using the whole time, and I added some secret sauce to it that I'm not gonna show on here, but here it is kind of pitched down. It made this really cool effect that you can hear like moving back and forth between your left and right ear. I switched up the drum pattern as well, and then brought some of those haze back into it. And then it had just a very sparse percussion going on, just because that 808 carried it so much. Then for the second half of that final hook, I took out the haze completely. And then maybe my favorite part of the whole beat, I took that vibey effect where it's moving back and forth, and then I went and chopped it up, just kind of super crazy, but it was super dope. I don't know. That's basically it. I really like the lyrics and like just the, I don't know, it was super hype. And I make a lot of like emotional songs, I guess, but this one was super hype. And like, I love making these, but a lot of times they feel forced. This one did not feel forced though. This was just like, man, I'm so happy to be done with like the lockdown and all the pandemic stuff that we went through, that I was like, we're back outside, baby. So make sure to check out the song. It's on all your favorite streaming platforms. Make sure to check out my project and Now My Future Presentation Volume 1. I'll catch you next time.
Outside, we outside, yeah, we outside, we outside.